Hey guys, how's it going? I'm the Duke of Italy, your favorite lo-fi, super messy hair YouTuber. Oh my goodness, what a mess. And today we're filling out basically the implied promise that I would be doing more videos. And it is the middle of July as of filming and probably uploading this, as it will be in the next few days or whatever. And I just thought it's been a long time since I did part 2 of any series, and that's why I just did Spiderland in one whole video. And I decided, you know what? Before I cover a discography of some sort, which is coming soon, I just wanted to kind of basically, this video is a reminder that I am continuing with the series that I started. Shoegaze is coming. Not soon, but it's coming. I know that's an old series, and I got more to go with that. But, you know, if you were following this particular series, and you know we're talking about metal, extreme metal, death metal, black metal, grind, heavy stuff, of the Caveman riffs variety, because that's what we're talking about today, is more Caveman riffs. Last time we talked about pretty straight up black metal. If not just straight up black metal, we talked about first wave and a little bit of second wave, particularly from like Finland in terms of second wave with Impaled Nazarene. And we dove a little into war metal, which a lot of these bands influenced war metal. And today it's war metal and the beginnings of the death metal section of this chart, which I just gotta say, I don't critique a lot of the structures of these charts or a lot of the flows that much, but I think the segmenting of this chart it's fun thematically. I think the albums are overall of quality, and I think that this segmenting of the 4 different parts it works really well too, and it's a good way to get you into the sound, especially starting with first wave black metal. It's a really good way to really get you into the sound. But today, the theme of today is war metal. We're talking about real extreme, brutal caveman riffs, drooling, filthy, just awful stuff. And by awful, I mean fantastic. Because first thing we're talking about is Conqueror with War Cult Supremacy. Now, if you don't know Conqueror, they would end up as a band called Revenge. And Revenge is nothing to scoff at. Revenge is the modern war metal band that matters. Revenge is surprisingly technical for a war metal band. This Conqueror album right here might be the most technical album on this whole chart, which, while it might not be saying much, honestly, Conqueror is a pretty impressive band. This is a long war metal album too. War metal is typically 30 minutes you're done to maximum, and I mean maximum 40 minutes. Well, here you got a 43-minute long album, roughly, and that is pretty long. Even Blasphemy, who started the genre, sticks to 30 to 35 minute length here, and that works for the genre. You know, it's an explosive, high energy, high impact, no breakdowns yet, full energy type of genre here, and it's very ultra consistent. The thing with war metal is you're either a great band or you're a band that is almost inexplicably worse, and that's really kind of hard to tell. You'll have bands that kind of feel like they drop off because the intensity goes missing somewhere, and it's normally due to a production issue or maybe a riff or two just sucks. But I'm happy to say that not only does Conqueror become a great war metal band, they were a great war metal band. War Cult Supremacy is a banger. Huge, bestial war metal. Intense stuff. Great builds and, shockingly enough, dynamics, which is a rare thing in war metal. If you like Revenge and you've heard them before, this band, then you'll like this as well, but it's got a more raw production. The drums are utterly abrasive, and they're sick like that. Sometimes they'll have some pretty interesting effects, like a large amount of vocal delay, which adds pretty unique sense of space. You get some really wild, raspy vocals, kind of like Varg from Burzum on steroids. And even the feedback of the guitars that the amp just emits is used as a weapon. This album is volatile, it's violent, it's hostile, it is intense. It's a great album, and you do not know war metal if you do not know Conqueror, and you don't know war metal if you don't know at least one Revenge album. Honestly, when it comes to Revenge, a lot of their albums are very similar. They feel like almost like technical thrash metal thrown through a overarching war metal theme, design, production, riff style, all that stuff. But you got a technical sense to it. Up next is Bestial Warlust with Vengeance War Till Death. And this is 33 minutes of straight, somewhat classic, at least classic sort of resembling war metal. It's got some cool builds, some really heavy tom fills and just tom builds. It's pretty wild. You've got a cavernous sense of vocal reverb, which I think is something that's pretty common in war metal, but it's a nice feature. And you have buzzsaw riffs. The tone of these guitars is pretty great. And it is a really, really cacophonous mix. And I know Blasphemy has a really cacophonous mix, but I think this is equally as cacophonous with less of the impact. And this album honestly gets a little old, you know, this British war metal band, you'd think they could hold up they could hold the strength, they could hold a candle to something like Blasphemy or Beherit or any of these bands, but they just don't, to be honest with you. The creativity runs thin, and that's, oddly enough, in war metal, that's nothing that registers. You never consider creativity, you just consider power, intensity, blast beats, pick slides, screeching, really low gutturals, intensity, real bestial intensity. And, you know, shocking enough, Bestial Warlust proves that's not the only thing that matters, because they lack the other part. But it's an okay album. The production is pretty good. Riffs are usually okay. And up next, we get a band with a huge name, Blasphemofigure, with Nuclear Empire of Apocalypse. Heavy, black, death, thrash metal. It's Brazilian metal. Honestly, if I could give this proto-everything genre, or proto-extreme everything genre, a real title, it's just Brazilian metal. It's just like early Sepultura, Holocausto, Sarcophago, Brazilian metal. It's like the first album was kind of blackened, and then they go into death or technical death territory or something like that. But this album is cool because it's got a really fun sense of a lead guitar style that's really nice. And it's got some chuggy sections, which even old school death metal doesn't get as chuggy as this. It is not totally war metal here, but it is totally adjacent to the sound. You would not be critiqued necessarily for calling this war metal, unless the critic is me, because I'm kind of a jerk. It's nothing too crazy, but it is fun. It's primitive. It's not too bad. It's a good album, actually. And up next, we have a band that is as classic as it could possibly get. This is Beherit with their demo, The Oath of Black Blood. Early war metal banger, 20 minutes, demo quality, rough. It is dumb. It's dumb, and it's raw. And it's decently riffy, funnily enough. And there are some cool doomy sections that really give it a lot of space and a lot of full body to it, which is nice because war metal as a not fully realized genre, even though Blasphemy invented and you could argue perfected it, they add a really cool other dimension to it. And I loved the B-side of this thing, or the second half of this demo. I don't know if it was on a two-sided vinyl, but I love the B-side. It's really heavy. It's really awesome. The song Beast of Damnation is just a banger. It might be the band's best song. It's got some really cool OG death metal style parts here. But this demo, it's great. It's as classic as it gets. It's awesome. And up next, we have a band that is interesting. Certainly interesting. I think they're sick. This is Ride for Revenge with the album Under the Eye. Just a really cool blackened doom sort of blend here that no one can really fully explain. What I like about this band a lot, there was a review I saw one time on Rate Your Music, because I lurk and I'm a loser, that described it as, there's no reason to believe this band is black metal. There's nothing about them that is black metal. The riffs aren't tremolo. The vocal style is like kind of yelly, kind of like in between like first wave black with some death metal, a little bit of a death metal style. The riffs are very doomy, yet very primitive. It's like such an outsider thing. The only thing that feels death metal is the attitude. It is the misanthropic, disgusting, warlike nature of this whole thing that feels blackened and heavy and sickening. It's like a weird after the battle thing. Like everything about this band is just gross. It's just like carrion is circling everything this band touches, except the music, because that music is poppin'. It is weird, but it's very primitive and tribal, and it's very drony. It's very interesting, and there are some occasional beefier parts with some real war metal quality. It is a creative album. It's very inspiring as well, and it's like very hypnotic doom metal in a way. And starting and ending the album, you get these really nice ambient sections that just put the whole thing in this really nice sense of ambiance. It's got some really cool atmosphere to it. It's kind of like how Bathory does that whole thing. But man, this is a cool band. It is decently monkey as well, so I think it's great. And up next is a band that is a bit controversial, yet they are quite good. This is Demar, and this is Triumph Through Spears of Sacrilege. This is a band that no one knows exactly where they're from, but it's theorized this is a band that was threatened by the authoritarian Islamic State, basically. One of the countries over there. I apologize for not knowing the country right now, but I am mostly reviewing the musical content, and it is somewhat common knowledge that a few of those states are a bit more on the authoritarian side, with infringement on many rights that at least us in America, or the West, would deem intrinsic to a person. And if you've ever had anyone more upset about it than Demar, I mean, it's George Bush or nobody. This is absolutely insane anti-Islamic war metal, which most people assume that's okay, because we assume this band is from the Middle East, which that is a whole topic for a whole nother video. I am currently covering the musical quality, and I have to say, great stuff. Intense, really violent. Sometimes it's almost like hardcore punk vocals, the way you can really hear it. Like the line that sticks out that everyone knows from this album, and in black metal you will never get lyrics, ever. It's, "Do you wish to die?" Just punching you in the face. Violent stuff. For being a 19-minute long demo, this thing is just heavy. It's crushing, it's grinding, it is so violent. Black metal is known for being a very campy genre. This album is different. No camp at all. It's upset, it's great, and it's as heavy as black metal can get. And up next we have Iperit with Particular Hatred. Now this is industrial bent black metal with a sense of grooviness, and I cannot even start this review without saying it doesn't work. If you like Reek of the Unzen Gas Fumes, then, I mean, I can't even say you'd like this, because I love that self-titled record, which, I know it's re-recordings of old songs, but this here is just like a way worse version of that. It's lacking in the riffiness, it feels very edgy, the vocals are good, but overall it's cringe. And I kind of hate to say that, because I know a lot of you guys like that out there, but I mean, if there's something you guys like about it, let me know what it is. But I do like the vocals, but I do think it's poor. I think it doesn't come together as it should. And up next, finishing our black metal portion of the chart, Have a Hedge, Dethrone the Son of God. Hateful, violent, brutal, heavy, disturbing, classic black metal. It is like, it's not grindcore. It's by no means grindcore, but it is grindcore influenced black metal. Thick bass, fast switch ups, and screeching, insane vocals. Some of the best vocals in black metal. It's, dare I say, even almost groovy at points, and it's inconceivably dense. And for having like only black metal style vocals, it's really heavy. It's mostly just black metal blast beats and the thrashy swank beats, but it's so thick and heavy. Some of the blast beats are incredibly fast. They might be reaching like hammer blast territory. And the drum fills are really solid. It's about a 26-minute long album, which is very short, and it's got a 2-minute sort of scream spoken word outro here, but it feels so disgusting, dude. Like how Jamie Stewart from Shoo Shoo feels about indie rock, this dude feels about black metal. I know he's just a force, a real force. This thing is great, and it is quite possibly the best album on even the whole chart. And this leads us into the death metal section, which today we'll be covering 2 death metal albums for you guys. And the first one is not just death metal, but a little bit of doom influenced as well. This is Autopsy with Mental Funeral. Knuckle dragging, groovy, but intense death metal with a splash of doom in there. And by doom, I mean like groovy Tony Iommi Doom. Like, it's not like Doom vibes, but it's like groovy stuff, and it is nice. Tons of guitar solos. You get about a guitar solo per song. The bass is really hooky. It feels like Geezer Butler playing for death metal. The track Torn from the Womb is full of great death metal ideas and really nice doomy riffs. It's a real highlight. Some really dismal riffing, but it's never too depressing. And the blast beats here are very rare, but every time they hit, they're so wild and they feel so motivated by the rest of the track. It feels like a very, well, maybe not a logical progression because they're hard to pin down. You don't really predict them, but they feel just great. Just like the rest of this album. This thing is great. It is a groovy mess in the best way possible. It is heavy. It's good stuff. And up next, we have a debut here. Bolt Thrower. In Battle There Is No Law. Slightly grind-influenced, thrashy death metal. It is a deep and grimy sound with murky bass, and it sounds just great. The lead guitar goes crazy here. It sounds awesome. The riffs are simple, yet very effective. High testosterone album here. Very memorable riffs. Quick 30 minutes. It's pretty awesome stuff. It is not as intricate as like most melodic death or any tech death really, but it sounds so great. It is as efficient as you can get in death metal. It is great stuff. And that's about it. Quick little video for you guys today, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoy these death metal and black metal and war metal albums. And if you do, consider liking, and subscribing. Questions, comments, and concerns down below in the comment section. Social media in the description box below, where you'll find my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Discord page. And I'd actually love for you guys to join my Discord page. We talk about a lot of stuff. Right now, we're kind of talking about best albums of the year so far because it is July. And that's about it. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Have a good day. Bye.